Good evening, everyone. It's Julia Bileski here. I'm the author of Leading with Grace. I'm a district leader, a former elementary principal, and an overall lover of leadership. I'm back for another Fireside chat tonight. This one is personal. So this one is all about mistakes. Now, in Leading with Grace, I have a whole chapter about communication, but this is actually not an example from the book because this is an example that I have been wrestling with this very week. This is a real-time example about communication mistakes. And what I want to share with you is a little bit about what happened, but most importantly, I want to share about what I've learned in my leadership journey that really served me well in responding to this mistake and what I've been reflecting on for these last 24 hours. So the example is not even a work-related example. It was a communication mistake in my personal life. But as I've been reflecting on it for the last 24 hours, I realized there are so many parallels to the leadership journey that I've been on and what I've learned about how to respond to mistakes as a leader that I applied to this situation in my personal life last night that I just had to share it with you today. So without getting into too much detail, we're just going to categorize this as this was an honest, genuine human error mistake that had to do with email. And I realized I had made a mistake, and my first response was immediately to beat myself up about it. If you can relate, I felt that tightness in my chest. I started to panic. I felt terrible. I realized I had made a mistake, and I knew it could impact people, and I just wanted to undo it. Unfortunately, there was no way to undo it. So what did I do? Now, this has been a journey for me, but where I have come as a graceful leader in my life is I owned my mistake. I didn't deflect. I didn't try to place blame somewhere else. I didn't try to point fingers to somebody else being responsible for the mistake. I stepped up and I immediately took responsibility and owned my mistake. I issued an apology because in this situation, I felt that it was appropriate. Sometimes an apology is not necessary. Then I explained what happened. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be detailed, but even a sentence to just explain what happened that led to the mistake can be really helpful. I took immediate steps to correct the mistake that I had made. And then I reflected on what could I learn from this mistake so that hopefully this particular error doesn't happen again. Now, the last thing I did is the most important thing. I let it go. So after we own our mistakes, we apologize, we take responsibility for our actions, we communicate the details of what happened, we take steps to correct the problem, and we reflect on what we're going to do to make sure it doesn't happen again. The most important thing we can do as graceful leaders is let it go. We know we are going to make mistakes. We are human beings. It will happen. It happens to everyone. I'll probably make a couple more mistakes before the week is out. It's only Wednesday today. But what I know is that I need to move on beyond this particular mistake, not beat myself up about it. And what's really, really important is that when we model this as leaders, it shows the people who we work with, it shows the people in our lives that it's okay to make a mistake, it's normal to make a mistake, and that there is a right way to respond when we make a mistake. And by modeling that, we are encouraging other people to do the right thing when they make a mistake in the future. I hope this has been helpful for you. I would love to engage with you more about this topic. I would love to hear about your tips for how you rectify mistakes that you make in your personal or professional life, and any ideas that I didn't share that you might have for how you can address a mistake in a graceful way as a graceful leader. Have a good night, everybody.